What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Dub Money event week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for January 12th through January 18th, 2023. In terms of new content this week, unfortunately, we did not receive a new car. It's been about 2 weeks since the last drip feed car released, which means it's going to be a total of 3 event weeks or more before we see the next drip feed car, which I think is completely ridiculous at this point. However, the random spawning gun van, which is what you can use to officially purchase the Railgun, is now available. So I guess that's sort of cool. That's probably what Rockstar decided to give us this week instead of a new car, even though most people got the Railgun from the glitch last week for free. But anyways, they also finally added hard mode to the first dose missions. So for those of you wondering why is there no hard mode for these missions, well, Rockstar even made that drip feed. Yikes. Well, that's available now, and first dose missions are also double money this week. Anyways, after 3 event weeks, the snow and all the festive events are currently gone in GTA Online. So for those of you who were a bit annoyed with the snow, it's finally gone until next December. So the current prize right for this week is the Vapid Car 4x4. This truck is primarily based on the 2nd generation Ford F-150 Raptor, and it has a normal price of $875,000. To get this truck for free, you have to place top 3 in an LS CarMate Series race for 5 days in a row. And honestly, for a vehicle that's under $1 million normally, I don't see it worth dedicating those 5 days in a row, unless you normally get on GTA Online every single day. But yeah, 5 days out of your 7 days in the week, that's a bit ridiculous. Anyways, in terms of performance, this truck is in the off-roads class, and off-roads pretty well, but not as well as others like the Camacho or the Drager, and it's a lot slower as well compared to those. However, it's still a fun vehicle to drive with great customization. In terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the Comet S2, the 10F, and the ZR350 as well. And for next-gen console users, we have the HSW Brioso RA as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now, in terms of a casino podium vehicle, we have the Dinka Jester RR. This vehicle is primarily based on the Toyota Supra Mark V, and it has a normal price of just under $2 million and a trade price of just under $1.5 million. So definitely a very pricey car. In terms of performance, it's in the sports class and is around mid-pack for track performance, which isn't too great. However, it is usable in tuner races, and it's actually pretty useful depending on the race, as it does have the highest top speed out of all the tuner subclass vehicles. Plus, of course, it has fantastic customization, so definitely one that's worth spending some time spinning that wheel over and over. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos, we have the RT3000 and the Nero. And for Simians, we have the Dominator ASP, the Furia, the Drift Tampa, the Windsor, and the Hot Ring Sabre as well. Moving on to the discounts, in terms of property discounts, we have 30% off the bunkers, which is pretty great, as well as the upgrades and renovations for it as well. Moving on to vehicle discounts, we have 30% off the Previon. So this car is in the Coupes class and is the current king for most tracks, so I would definitely consider getting one if you don't own it already. Plus, of course, being a tuner's car, it has tons of customization. Next up, we have 30% off the Dominator ASP. So this car is in the muscle car class and used to be the king before the Buffalo STX release. It currently sits in top 5 depending on the track, but it's still way off the pace of the Buffalo STX and the HSW Vigero. However, it's still a very nice car with great customization, and it's very easy to drive as well. Moving along, we have 30% off the Dinka RT3000. So this car is in the sports class and doesn't perform all that well as you would expect. Now, it is usable in tuner races, but it's not that competitive in there either. But regardless, just like the last 2 tuner DLC cars, It also has fantastic customization. And lastly, moving on to the Benny's website, we have 40% off the Benny's custom conversion cost for the Sultan RS, which would bring that cost down to $477,000. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on select community created jobs and the first dose missions, and that's it. Yikes, that's pretty terrible, honestly. Moving on to the Prime Gaming bonuses for Prime Gaming members only. So again, same as usual, we have the free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And if you log in before January 25th with Twitch Prime linked, you'll be given the Sprunk Festive Sweater. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is Construction Site 2. This week's normal time trial is Calafia Way. I highly recommend a vehicle with a high top speed or fast bike for this time trial. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the Supercar Race Downtown Underground. I highly recommend either the Emirates, Krieger, or LM87 for that race. And if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Weaponized Ignis. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial is Sandy Shores. As always, the HSW Hakachu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the Previon. It's the fastest non-HSW car in the Coupes class and has great customization. I think it's definitely worth owning if you don't own it already. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is pretty terrible if I'm being honest. I mean, the only new content technically is the Railgun, even though it's not new since most people glitched it last week and it's not even a new weapon, but you're finally able to officially purchase it using the gun van thing. But other than that, and then the hard mode for first dose missions, which that should have been since day one of a DLC. They shouldn't have drip fed a hard mode for a mission. That makes no sense. And then we only have 4 vehicles on sale this week, 2 double money opportunities, which are complete trash, no businesses on double money. I mean, this is one of the worst event weeks we've had in a long time. I don't understand what's going on at Rockstar, but yeah. And then drip feed cars, this is going to be the 3rd event week in a row with no drip feed vehicle. So I'm wondering, I mean, at this point, are they going to extend drip feed? I mean, how long at this point? It was 3 weeks for a drip feed car. I think that's a bit ridiculous. They're probably going to extend drip feed till like May or June or something at this point. I have no idea. It's getting completely out of hand. And I don't see why they're holding back so much. And in my opinion, they're actually killing the game more than they are trying to make it last longer, the hype of the drip feed cars and all that. So, and that's just my opinion, obviously. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed, hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.